Um, Not that this matters particularly, but just as an example, right, of something I want you to know that you can do, this is how long it took me to write and produce this edition of 58 Keys. Is that a long time? I don't know. I mean, I literally don't know because as we're doing this, it's still counting up or working or whatever. I'm still making it basically. Plus, I've got to stress this. It's not as if I particularly care. I mean, I come here to talk to you. If it takes me that long, well, what's the difference? Yeah, it's still just you and me, two writers having a chat, and this time having a chat about time. We are writers. We do not spend enough time writing, and then actually somehow we also take too long writing. I don't quite know how that works, and maybe this will help us find out. Maybe this will help us. Maybe. Hello, I'm William Gallagher, and this is 58 Keys, which, as ever, as always, is for writers like you and me who use and who write on Macs and iPhones and iPads. Do subscribe because, well, there's so much to talk about, and now there are ways to find out exactly how long we spend talking about them instead of writing. Yeah, okay. Now, today is specifically about an app called Timing, which you may well already know, but has recently had a significant update. You can use this timing to see exactly how long a particular task or project takes, if you like. And as I am admittedly curious today about our chatting, we can time that a little bit. But it's really meant to be for tracking everything you do at your Mac and now also on the iPhone and the iPad. And I suppose, I mean, the obvious real example, isn't it, is if you bill for your time. And actually, sometimes I do. I just did this thing where I quoted 2 days to a company, and instead the job took me an hour. Foolishly, I'm only billing them for the hour. Anyway, that's my problem. And actually, in that case, yeah, it was an hour, but I didn't bother checking timing to see it was exactly 60 minutes or something. But it could, and actually, at the end of the week I did that, I did look to see this. How much time had I spent working in the week? What did I spend that time working on? You can see that it doesn't, I mean, that it can't really include time spent cooking, or for this morning when I had to wait before talking to you because I cut myself shaving again. Tissue paper, supplies, very, very important. Well, actually, no, I'm wrong. Timing can record that. What you do is you run timing all the time, and when you do something that's away from your Mac, like dabbing things or boiling kettles, whatever, when your Mac has been on but you haven't been using it, timing will ask you on your return, what did you do? That can actually be a little bit irritating. If you're back and forth, if you're constantly back and forth between the Mac and the kettle and the tissue paper or whatever, what did you do? What did you do? What did you do? But timing does make entering what you've done just about as fast as possibly can be. For this example with you today, I specifically set up a new project in timing called 58 Keys on Timing. I did not record the hours it took me to come up with that brilliant title. And then, actually, for the first time since I've been using this, since early January, however long that is, I did this. I ran a timer. I specifically said I was going to be doing a certain thing. I was writing this edition. So, timer, off you pop, run a timer on that. I haven't done this before, and you don't need to do it at all. I don't need to do it now. I write my notes for this in the Omni Outliner app, for example, and what timing does is it tracks how long do I spend in Omni Outliner, or in Safari, for example, when I went just now to check what timing costs. And then actually in Safari again a few moments later I realised I'd forgotten and had to go back and check the price again and get the website address. But still, flaky memory aside, as far as timing is concerned, that's two apps, Omni Outliner and Safari. Now, either of them, like all apps, you can use them for countless things. They are not dedicated to any one particular task, like writing one particular project. But timing will keep a track of how long you spend in the app, and later you can drag that time to assign it to a certain project. I mean, later on, for example, it will track how long I spend recording this edition. I film on my iPhone, but at the moment I record audio onto my MacBook Pro, so timing on the Mac is going to show how long I spend in Logic Pro or QuickTime Player, whichever one it is I use to record the audio this time. And then there'll be the editing. Okay, very curious to see how long that takes. Anyway, okay, and then there'll also be some time uploading to YouTube. There'll be writing descriptions or whatever. I mean, yeah, we're writers though, and at this point, as I'm making this point in the writing, here's what timing looks like. I should say also, this is the first thing I'm doing this morning, but it's Friday as I do this, so yeah, okay, I put the bins out first, and oh, it was horrible because the bin bag burst, and it was like, yeah. Plus, I write a blog called Self Distraction. Now, as it happens, I do that every Friday because I knew you and I'd be talking now. For once, I wrote it late on Thursday, but it goes out on a Friday. I've also needed to do various things with it. So actually, in a bit, we will see timing's count of apps and times change. That pie chart will change to reflect even that. I do not know, by the way, and I'm really not honestly sure how I can find out, how I appear to have spent under a minute on Spark Young Writers. That is a project I do. It's a project I do every month, and I relish it. I mean, I could bore you about that project for a lot longer than less than 1 minute. But as it happens today, not so much. Can't figure that one out. These are the apps that I have used today. On the outliner, as I say, that's what I've been writing in. Timing, yeah, not really a shock since that's what we're talking about. Safari, as I say, and the Finder because I'm writing on a Mac. And yeah, not to run through every app in the world, but Fantastical and Installer were also from things I was doing yesterday. I just didn't quit them until we started talking this morning. Shortcuts, actually I like this. Please let me show you shortcuts for it, because I've been collecting video, right, and screenshots for this edition of 58 Keys for a while, but this morning I did this. Command Spacebar, that's Alfred, the launcher app. I typed SC and then found my new 58 Keys episode shortcut. SC is an Alfred workflow by Lucas Deichmann, and it then runs the shortcut by me. That shortcut calculates what the next 58 Keys episode number is, creates all of the various folders I need for it. You know what it's like. You have research in different things, files like that. Right, it creates all of those folders. It even actually starts the script. I am quite proud of that shortcut. But it's a shortcut. You can see it did its job. It's supposed to do things and do them quickly. It took less than 1 minute. Tell you, I'm suddenly feeling a bit under pressure, actually. Tell you what, let's see what happens if I take a break. Nothing. Right. Because I'm running a timer. Okay. That makes sense. If I hadn't been running a specific timer saying I was doing this specific thing, this 58 Keys on timing, timer would have noticed that I wasn't using the Mac for however long it took the kettle to boil, and it would do this. As I say, when that keeps coming up, it's sometimes irritating. But, for instance, quite commonly I'll get a phone call while I'm writing something. And this, what did you do, feature, lets me say, okay, well, these last few minutes, I spent this time on a call to do with that other project. Notice, too, that timing tries to estimate the time you spent. That's usually pretty good at it. But in that case, it's doing it by figuring out how long it is since you had your Mac open or that you're working in an app. So if I was taking notes about the phone call, if I was just drumming my fingers on the trackpad or something, it might not be accurate. But if it isn't, if it's wrong, and you're fussed, you can adjust the time it's recorded. Sometimes this does all seem like too much effort. My head is in the writing work, not in how long it's taking. And in that case, you can just think, yeah, whatever, and discard the time it asks you about. And also there are keystrokes that mean, as you get used to the app, you pretty much fly through entering which project you're on and what you were doing. And for all the precision available to you, for us as writers, really, neither timing nor any other system, I don't care how much you add the specifics for it, I don't care what options it gives you, none of them, no system of tracking writing, really is going to track how long it actually takes us to do something. For instance, yeah, apparently at this point I've spent 38 minutes writing this 58 Keys edition. But Actually, hang on, let me be accurate. I've got a Mac in front of me. I'll check the apps. Daniel Alm, the maker, the developer of Timing, he emailed me to say that there was a new version of Timing on the 2nd of January this year, 2023. So at time of recording then, I have been using this app Timing for 46 days. Which means, actually, yeah, I'm not recording. I don't count that as part of how long did this take. That I don't know a way to measure it, but it does mean I can do this, which is actually what timing is more useful for. I can look at my day, my week, last week, I can see last month. I can slice up all of this information in different ways to see how long I spent doing what. But okay, again, not quite. Timing today, right this moment, now says that I've been working on this 58 keys for a certain number of minutes, but yeah, it can't include a fraction of the 46 days I've spent researching it, testing it. But then I hardly spent the entire 46 days on it. So there are practical, even philosophical limits of what you can use timing apps for. But did you notice when I flicked through there was a week where I did something like 67 hours? It was 67 hours working and stuff. That didn't surprise me. The ones where it was in the 30 odd hours though, that was a jolt. I actually had not realised how varied my weeks are. And now, after we've spoken, I am going to take some time to look back at what exactly was I doing in those weeks. I mean, yeah, in timing, but I'll also look at Fantastical, the calendar, and my job book where I record what I'm doing, things, just see what was going on. Try to get a feel of, what was happening. That is actually a useful and unexpected, to me, benefit of doing all of this, of running the timing app all the time. But despite the fact that I haven't used it much, that's what's always been possible in this timing app. I just checked, and I previously reviewed timing in 2018 for somewhere. What's changed since then, and changed at the start of this year, 2023, is that the latest version of timing now works alongside Apple's Screen Time. And as I say this to you, I don't know how that works. So, 1 second, or 1 hour. Let's see how long it takes me to find out. Right, looks like that was about an entire minute to find out how this new feature in timing works. Okay, I'm basing that minute on how I spent some time in Safari looking it up, and I noticed according to timing, my use of Safari has gone up to a total day of 2 whole minutes. It's going to be a lot longer by the end of today, isn't it? An entire minute's effort put into finding out something to tell you. I'm a mensch, aren't I really? Anyway, what I learned in that entire minute was that, okay, you have to turn on this iPhone, iPad screen time feature in timing, and it says that once you do, it can take a few hours for screen time and timing to, kind of get together, have a chat, do whatever it is they do. Anyway, at some point in the next few hours, screen time on my iPhone and my iPad will chuck its data over to timing, and timing will apparently analyse it more closely than screen time does. It will add it to everything else that it records on the Mac. It will give this amount of detail, and I will presumably then be able to see that, okay, while I had that tea break just a moment ago, well, I also read some emails. I flicked through some news in Reader. I mean, okay, serious point. I think there's a lot of detail in timing. I think you can just do huge amounts with it, but I'm a freelance writer. And it seems to me that those two words, they kind of pull in different directions. So as a freelance, right, I have to be very conscious of time. Time is like my only stock in trade, if you like. But as a writer, I can and I do, and I think I must actually get lost in the writing. I said I reviewed timing last in 2018. I mean, it's now 5 years later as I record this. And after I'd finished the review, I did leave timing running all the time for a very long time, but I didn't look at it. And at some point, Change Max did something, I didn't bother to put it back on. Now that it's been improved, and actually, now that I've looked into it more in order to show you, I think there is a question of whether I'll continue using it for myself. You see the benefits, you can tell whether it be any use to you. You can see how with those weeks where I didn't work enough, it's going to help me figure out why, I think. There is also, of course, how this is useful to me. It shows me what days of the week I tend to be busiest on, which means if you commission me to write something, well, I can see that I have space on Sundays, say. Look, I think timing is spectacularly well done. I think my need for it, and I think perhaps your need for it, might be just in kind of short runs for it, using it for a couple of months to see what you see. I don't think that it's something we can get great benefit from it all the time or forever, but it is addictive. Knowing that I've now spent 57 minutes, even though I've actually accidentally stopped the timer, it's oddly absorbing. And realising also that I forgot to have breakfast this morning, well, that's a thing too. That wasn't in timer, that's just entered my head. Go check out timingapp.com, link in the, you know how it works, link in the description as ever. I'm reasonably sure, I think, that when I used timing before, 5 years ago, it was a one-off purchase, but it is now a subscription, and it comes in 3 tiers, starting at $8 or £6 per month if you buy annually in advance, $10 or £8 per month if you pay monthly in advance. I think the monthly option is probably best for us. I mean, cheaper annually, yes, but I feel like you're going to use it for a while, try it for a while, and then come back to it at different points. But see what you think. And that price, by the way, that first tier price, that gets you most of what you've seen now. Gets you the tracking of app usage. It gets you the pop-up. What did you do? That sounds so accusing, doesn't it? William Gallagher, what did you do? Put that Mac down right now. Anyway, there's a next tier up. There's out of the 3, there's another one, a second one at $10 or £8 per month annually, $13 or £10 per month monthly, and that gets you the new integration with Apple Screen Time and various other things. But it means you can import data from your iPhone and your iPad use. I offer that for us as writers, we do waste a lot of time. I think we probably have to, though. But we also do a lot of other things on our Macs and our iPhones. So we can see how long we've spent actually writing compared to how much time piddling about with other stuff on the Mac. That actually could be really useful. In fact, actually, try that one out for free. Get the 30-day free trial version of Timing and just see what it tells you. I do mean that I simply do not care how long it does or doesn't take when I'm talking to you. I mean, we're talking. How could I possibly care? But I admit I was a bit curious. Plus, although, well, I didn't time it like this before. I've never timed it before. I do know that there was one 58 keys that went wrong for all sorts of reasons, and I had to replace it. That replacement took me 90 minutes from eek to uploading a finished video. I was so smug that week. Yeah, but then the very next week's one took me 35 hours or something like that. Carrie Fisher once tweeted a bit of a complaint, actually, about how long it used to take her to write a sentence. And you understood her, you sympathised, but oh, come on, if I could write like Carrie Fisher did, I would not care how long it takes. Although apparently I'd know to the second. That's it for this edition of 58 Keys. Thank you very much for watching. Oh, it took you this long to watch it. Was that useful? Anyway, take care of yourself. Write more, and I'll see you soon.